e-learning. I prefer to use the word technology-enhanced learning, which is also the terminology that's much more used by for example, the European Commission in its research for learning technologies. E-learning is much more the American word, if you want to, while technology-enhanced learning is much more the European, more universal definition of everything that enhances the learning, which is based on technology. So my definition would be enhanced learning, enhanced by means of technology. And the technology, I do understand the very wide plethora of information communications technologies, multimedia, and so on. I don't know. I see, for example, that one of the most successful learning management systems, which is Moodle, it's awful, but still everybody's using it. Yeah. Why is everybody using it? It's not because it's beautiful or because it's very, very highly usable. It's successful because it's becoming kind of a common standard. It doesn't stop tens of thousands of universities all over the world to use Moodle. So in the end, people can learn it. Just like, for example, typing, the QWERTY or the AZERTY keyboard, whatever keyboard that you have, is not designed with user-friendliness in mind. It was, in fact, designed with user-unfriendliness in mind, because otherwise people would be typing too quickly. Still, that's inherited, we still have the same keyboard. Same thing maybe with learning management systems. It may not be designed with high user-friendliness in mind, but since it is becoming a common standard, people are accepting it and are making the best out of it. In the end, it's about learning. This is not about research or about fulfillment of the individual desires of the teacher or the lecturer. Education costs a lot of money for everybody, a lot of time, a lot of money. There is a higher expectation for quality of learning. Mm-hmm. At the moment, after 20 years of integration of new technologies, at the moment I think we're in a phase of kind of stabilizing and kind of stock taking of what works, what doesn't work. And I think that the customers of education are now becoming critical, because they say, look, we have the means, we all have access to good sources, open educational resources, etc. We have the access to the technology. It is not like you had to go to the university to find a computer class. No, most students have better quality computers in their own pockets than you will find in university libraries, etc. So content is no longer in silos. The content is everywhere. The learning can happen everywhere. So students are becoming much more demanding of what is the role of the university or the school, the teacher, the lecturer in the learning process. They will no longer accept that's kind of a vessel full of content. No, they want this person to be something else. And not so much a person who just throws the content at them, but much more a person that guides them through the learning process and tells them how to learn, where to learn, when to learn, etc., rather than just saying what to learn. There's two movements in that. First of all, the traditional learning management systems, or the traditional platforms in which learning are happening, are taking much more the social media side into account. For example, Moodle, Blackboard, and all these, they are all now accommodating blogs, wikis, chat rooms, semi-webinars, etc. So they're aware of that, and they're integrating that in their technical solution. The second movement that we see is that the people are skipping the formal process of implementing it into a learning management system, and they approach it much more from the real learning as such. For example, the big movement towards MOOCs. I don't know whether you have heard of MOOCs, M-O-O-C. Yeah. That's really from the social media, the bottom-up approach. Like, I'm going to organize an open classroom, and you just come. And what happens there is so massive that I cannot be a teacher for everybody. I'm just going to provide opportunity for people to learn and to share. But what's happening amongst the 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 participants in a MOOC is something that I'm just enabling, or I let them choose their own processes to kind of learn with each other. That's a little bit of a similarity or a parallel with how learning really happens in real life. For example, if you go to class and you finish the class, you walk out and you're asking your neighbor or your friend, and you're saying, I didn't get that, so could you explain me this? Or you ask somebody else outside, or you Skype with somebody.